Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Even the Scales, and thank you for joining me. And today on the channel I would like to talk about the police in my town because right now I am living in what I would describe as a lawless town. Now between the time frame of 2015 and 2024, I have needed to call on the police for their help for matters to do with family and domestic violence, a total of 12 times all up. And on every one of these occasions, I was treated very, very unfairly and I received a complete lack of justice. And family and domestic violence is a huge problem in this country. Just from 2022 to 2023 alone, one woman was killed every 11 days and one man every 91 days. Those figures are from the Australian Institute of Health and Wellbeing, Health and Welfare, I should say. And also this year, violent deaths of women are at 17 right now, which is 11 more than this time last year. And those figures are taken from the ABC News website. And I can tell you from experience firsthand that the reason we are having these problems with family and domestic violence is because of the way police respond to the calls for help. And I can honestly say that in my situation, my personal situation, that the police have treated me just as bad as my abuser did, and if not worse. And they are still abusing me to this day because I'm speaking out about it all. Even while I tried to while I was like sorting out the notes to make this video, because the police have my home bugged, they knew what I was trying to do and they were doing everything that they possibly could to try and distract me. So if there's any noise around while I try and make this video, that's why. That's because what they're doing. So before I explain about some of the call outs and how police handled them, I also just want to let you know that between the time frame of 2015 and 2024, I was dealing with two different police stations during that time. And ironically enough, I had a family member based at each of those police stations. So, you know, although I didn't know it at the time, both of these people had been working hard in the background of my life to make sure that I never received the justice that I deserved. So that had a lot to do with it. Also, the families that I am a part of or have been a part of had a kind of loyalty code within their families where you should never call the police on a family member, no matter how abusive that they are to you, which is, to me, just a very toxic belief that is not true. You should definitely call the police if someone's abusing you. And, you know, it's obviously just something that's made up by the abusers in these families to put fear into their victims so they can abuse them and get away with it. So, yeah, I had a lot of family members working against me during the time. And, yeah, so that made it even worse. So on one occasion when I called them, I'd actually been hiding from my abuser until they arrived because that's how frightened I was. And then when they arrived, I started to tell them what had been going on, and straight away these two officers, both male they tried to turn it around onto me, like as if it was something that I had done to make this happen. And yeah, they just tried to turn it around and blame the whole situation on me. And this is something that I found like very common every time that I have called on the police. This is the kind of thing they do. They will also, like, they'll also try and gaslight you and try and spark a negative reaction out of you. So I just found it impossible to try and even explain my side of the story to these two officers. So I just ended up walking away. And what ended up making the situation even worse is that these two officers ended up sparking up a conversation with my abuser and stood talking and laughing and joking with him for at least a good half hour before they left. So absolutely nothing was done at all. And, of course, I was left feeling pretty hopeless about the whole situation and very unprotected as well. And then there was another time I called on them and they ended up taking my abuser away in the car. And, I naturally thought that they would have been going to the police station. And that was not the case. I was absolutely amazed when my abuser was back at the house within about an hour because they hadn't done anything about it. They had just dropped him at the next suburb, which was probably only about a little bit over an hour's walk. And before I knew it, he was back at the house, even angrier than he was the first time because of the fact that I had called on the police. And he was also restocked with alcohol and ready to abuse again. So then there was another occasion where the police had to come to the house again. And this time it was a male and a female cop. And they were actually laughing about the situation that I was in. And as they walked away, it was Christmas time. And they said, like, Merry Christmas, like, in a really sarcastic way as they laughed, walking off, like, as if it was a big joke that I was left to deal with, the abuse for Christmas without any help from them, obviously. And yeah, I was really kind of disappointed to see that there was actually a woman police officer, that a woman police officer would have this kind of attitude as well. Um, so yeah, that was 3 times where I dealt with the police at my old address. And then when I moved, I had to contact the police several times again at the station where I live now. And all of these incidences were to do with my family violence. And this time, yeah, I went into the station and this time it was to report a pedophile. And the response I got from these two policemen was absolutely unbelievable at the time. I told them some of the details and their response was, he's too old to do anything and there's nothing that we can do about it, which I now know that this was completely untrue. And it was the family members that were working in the background of my life to obstruct justice and to make sure that I never received the justice. And I also feel like the police are very lazy as well. Like when you do go to report things, I feel like they'll do anything to try and get out of, having to do a report or whatever. So the next time I wrote to the police because at the time I had actually been being stalked and my family had also stolen an inheritance from me. So I thought I'll write to them this time and put it in writing. I might get a better response, but I was also ghosted from them that time as well. Like they never contacted me back or let me know anything about it. And I've also wrote to Child Services regarding children that may have been at risk in my family. And both times I was also ghosted and never contacted again to find out if there was any result of, what may have happened. And so then after receiving no response, I tried calling some officers out to my home, like a little bit after that. And I thought maybe, if they sit in my home with me and take a statement, like they might understand more, like person to person. So I called them, and 3 female officers turned up at my house, and why, I don't know. You would need to send 3 female officers to the house, like just to take a statement. I don't know, but that's what they did. And they also did not take me seriously at all at the time. And it was talking about the stalking that had been going on and how my family had stolen an inheritance from me. They were just brushing off everything and pretty much made me feel like I was silly for calling them in the first place. Then, not long after that, I had an attempted break-in at my home, which I feel was connected to my family members in some way. So I called the police again, and this time they sent 4 officers to my house. And, this was like after the attempted break-in would have taken place. It was hours after it. So I don't know why on earth they would have had to send 4 officers. There was 1 female and 3 male. And the female officer took photos of the evidence and checked for fingerprints and all that, and the other 3 just stood there like with their arms folded. So I feel like that was to kind of intimidate me as well. And then my car was also vandalised twice between 2021 and 2022, which I reported twice, but both of these times I received no response. So, it was the family members that were in the police force that were working in the background to stop me receiving the justice. So in the end, just at the end of last year, I ended up writing a letter to the police headquarters just to make them aware of how I'd been treated, because at the time there was a lot of talk on the news and that about domestic violence and that, and I thought, well, they need to know what's been going on and how police have been responding to these calls, and maybe it'll help bring awareness. So also, being the mother of 3 daughters and 2 granddaughters, I thought it might help bring change, but yet again I was completely ghosted by the police. Never received any email back or anything like that. And it was not long after that that I wrote the letter that, I don't know if anyone's seen my last video, but it was to do with the MK Ultra mind control that's been carried out on me in my community. So it was just after I wrote this letter to the police that all this intensified. The abuse in my community really picked up, and I know that it started before I wrote that letter, but it was really after I wrote that letter that it really intensified. And you can see they're sending trail bikes up and down the street right now, so that's good that it's been recorded. So I explained about the MK mind control in the last video. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. And so I ended up contacting the police about what was going on when the abuse intensified, because I've had idiots on the road trying to cause me car accidents. Whenever I go out anywhere, they'll send cars just to try and cause me problems on the road. So, naturally I'm worried about that. So I contacted the local police about it. And I also have hundreds of people stalking me when I go to the shop, not just a few, like they send hundreds of people towards me. But that's the whole idea of carrying out the MK Ultra mind control, is to make me look like I'm crazy if I go to the police or anyone that I think might be able to help me and say I have people causing me accidents, or I have hundreds of people stalking me. In a normal town, that would sound like I was a crazy person, but this is not a normal town. Like, the police are just not enforcing the law here, and they're trying to cover up a lot. So this is why they're doing this to me. They want me locked up, or they want me to just give up hope on my life. And that's not going to happen because I love my life. So, and I'm going to keep talking out about it. So the girl on the phone when I called the police, she had absolutely no help to offer me at all. Of course, because she was a part of the MK Ultra that's been carried out. I said, I'd like to come into the station and give a statement of what's been going on. And she just constantly tried to manipulate me into letting some officers come out to my home and take the statement. Her excuse was, oh, it's far too busy. If you come in here, you'll have to wait ages. I'll send some officers out to your home. And I knew straight away that by doing this, they were just going to try and, lure me to the hospital again, because this is what they'd done. It's all explained in the last video, what they did. I'm also going to talk about what they did to me at the hospital in the next video that I make. So yeah, it was all to try and get them to my house so that they could say I was crazy and lure me back to the hospital. And I wasn't going to let that happen. So, I've just had no help off anyone through this. So that's why I'm making these videos. Because these things need to be known. Like, this has probably been done to other people in the past where communities and police have got away with it and other people haven't survived, or maybe they've gone in hospital and they've never come back out of hospital, like things like that. So, and the things that I've witnessed the police doing in this town just to try and keep all this from coming out is just unbelievable, like how reckless they are. And, I'm just an innocent citizen, a grandmother who just wants justice, and it's like the police force is out of control right now. There was an incident back in 2023 where the police in Cooma, New South Wales, actually tasered a 95-year-old woman who actually passed away from it. God bless her. And, this is the kind of toxic bullying behaviour that's going on in our police force. And I've just seen so much of this, like, just pretty much all my life. That's all I've seen from police is this toxic attitude. And so right now I'm stalked constantly by the police right now in my town every day. And they're doing it to try and instill fear in me and to shut me up and to psychologically abuse me. So this is what they do to people, apparently, who speak up. People that have been a part of injustices, this is what they do to try and shut them up. And they'll give me no help at all, So they stalk me in cars, they stalk me on bikes, they stalk me in helicopters. A couple of times a day, they'll send the helicopter over, real low over the house, and they'll constantly be stalking in the police car, using the siren. So, and one of the reasons they're so hell-bent on keeping me quiet and stopping this information from coming out is because I actually know that there's a police officer in the force who is a rapist. And it's also the fact that, they've let this pedophile just live freely in a community. And I also know that there are other police officers who have sent innocent people to jail for things that they've done to get themselves off the hook. So these are the things that they're trying to keep quiet. And then there's also, of course, the two family members that have been obstructing justice for the past 9 years of my life as well. Also, the YouTube channel that I started, I believe, has been shadow banned by YouTube and probably the police as well, because it's not getting any views at all. But it's not going to stop me at all from making these videos, because the truth is about to come out about all this. And when it does, these videos are going to be there for all to see. People are going to want to know what I went through. And it's just not going to stop me at all. So if you've sat through this entire video, I'd like to thank you for listening. And, yeah, on the next video, I'm going to talk about my experiences in the hospital. So thanks again, guys. God bless you.